Well, everyone, the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 13 Pro, very different iPhones, but also lots of overlap here. So let's go and compare them and see which specific phone is the better one for you. Now, links will be down in the description. If you want to get these iPhones from there, you can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside about these phones, the iPhone 13 Pro, which came out in 2021 on the front, has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now, it's a very good panel. This was the first iPhone Apple brought over that basically has that ProMotion display, which looks very good. I love ProMotion. It's a very good looking panel. And even now, like I've been using this phone straight for like 2 years, and it's given me a very, very good experience. I've had a great time with it, and I honestly don't have too much to complain about here. Now, you still have the notch up top, which can be kind of annoying for some people. Personally, for me, like not the biggest deal in the world, but just a small thing. But overall, a very good looking phone, and I'm a massive fan of the way this specific phone kind of looks like. On the iPhone 15, on the other hand, this particular device on the front has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So the same type of panel, same exact display, same everything. A few things to keep in mind. With the iPhone 15, you are getting the dynamic island now. So that is a really nice feature to have. Having that dynamic island is really cool. So that's a really cool thing with the dynamic island. I think it's really awesome, and it definitely does like stand the test of time, I think, for the most part. So that's a really cool feature going on with this specific phone. Now, no 120 hertz panels or anything like that. Still standard ProMotion and everything, but I definitely do look at this phone, and I'm a big, massive fan of the way this particular phone looks like, in my opinion. Now, on the sides and everything, with both, you can definitely see that they have flat sides and everything, which is a little bit different. But I will tell you that the iPhone 13 Pro definitely feels much more premium. Having the 13 Pro with this like reflective side, it definitely looks a lot better, like I mentioned before. You have the ringer on-off switches here, no action buttons or anything, volume buttons at the very top. You do have the SIM card tray on the 13 Pro, which in my opinion definitely looks better than, the 15 is just eSIM. But I will say with the 15, it has like the curved architecture to it, which feels very good. But I definitely do like the 13 Pro. I definitely feel like this particular device feels and looks a little bit better. On the bottom, a little bit of a different setup as well. The iPhone 13 Pro has that lightning port right there, which I think looks pretty good. But the 15 does have USB-C. Now USB-C is very cool. It's very, very important. And I love having, and I prefer USB-C over Lightning. And that's just kind of how I felt for many, many years now. But like I mentioned, if you're getting Lightning, I mean, it's still fine. But USB-C, I think, is definitely the better one. You're going to be able to plug in a lot more things. It's going to have a lot more capability. And that's just kind of how it goes with these types of devices. So from that perspective, that kind of covers it up there. On the back side, you're getting different type of camera setups. So on the 15, you're getting that dual camera setup, wide and ultra wide. The 13 Pro, you're getting wide, ultra wide telephoto lens. So I kind of feel like between both, you're getting the overall better sensor. This is the complicated thing because on one, you're basically getting an extra sensor with the LiDAR sensor. But on the 15, you're getting that, the lack of that lens, but you still have some overlapping capability between both. We'll explain in a second. Both have frosted glass backs, which feel very premium. I personally do kind of prefer the frosted glass back on the 13 Pro, mostly because you do have I don't know, I feel like the reflective side and all the other things going on with the 13 Pro feel much better, and that's something I prefer over the 15s, but both are great, and once again, there's not like a crazy amount of things to complain about here either. Both have MagSafe capability here too, which is pretty good. Wireless charging, you have IP certification on both as well, which is very cool. So overall, that kind of covers it up there. I probably would say that overall, the 13 Pro is probably the one that kind of feels a little bit more premium. Like that's kind of how I felt between both. So in terms of that, that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of software and longevity, you're probably going to get a longer lasting phone from the 15. That's just kind of how these things go. With a device like the 15, this is a device that's still going to be here for many years, including the 13 Pro. Like, don't get me wrong, the 13 Pro is still going to be here for a few more years. But I kind of do think that with the 15, this is going to be a different situation. I feel like with the 15, this is going to be the one that is, going to last longer. The 13 Pro is still going to be here for many years, but the 15 is probably going to be lasting a year or two longer than the 13 Pro. So that kind of covers it up there as well. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these devices. The 13 Pro has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 15 has that Apple A16 chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's a faster phone between both. There we go. Hopping out of the apps in the background, you can see the 15, we have a lot of apps, so we'll just kind of close out of all of them as precisely as I can. So let's get into it. App stores, 3, 2, 1. I totally already messed up the first one, which is a telltale sign of what's going to happen in the future. But scrolling through, you can kind of see that even though the 13 Pro has a 120 hertz display, the 15's 60 hertz display is still fairly good, and that's something that's actually very decent on both. Hopping out of these two, I'm get into, okay, we're not even going to do camera now. Let's go into some of these other applications we have on both that are very similar. We try something like Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, Temple Run 2 is a pretty big game for like a smaller type of game. I don't know how to describe it. It's like in between of a big game and a small game. The loading speeds are kind of like all over the place sometimes, but you can tell right here that the 15 still actually did a pretty decent job, but the 13 Pro was right behind it. Like literally like quite right behind it between both. Getting into it, neither one of these really glitched up that much, so there's not really a crazy amount to complain about there. And both are probably going to be similar when it kind of comes down to that speed comparison standpoint. We have Netflix 3, 2, 1. I think the 13 Pro was slightly faster there, to be honest. Snake vs. Blocks 3, 2, 1. And again, the 13 Pro is faster here as well. Very surprising. You would not think a phone that's older like the 15 Pro or the 13 Pro for that matter would actually be faster in that specific situation. So I'm going to stack 3, 2, 1. And the 15 was faster here. The 13 Pro was a little bit slower. We can try Roblox, which I don't have on this device, which kind of sucks. We can try something like, we've kind of tested a few. I definitely do think with most of these applications, it's very surprising to me how an older phone like the 13 Pro is still doing a decent job compared to the 15. Now, I'm probably going to do a full speed comparison between these two at some point, but definitely in my opinion, it is very surprising to me, like I mentioned before, that a phone like the iPhone 15 isn't really as crazy amount faster compared to the 13 Pro. So that kind of covers it up from that perspective. Now, from the camera side of things, you're genuinely getting a way better camera, I would say. It's actually kind of complicated. I don't think there's one that's substantially better than the other one. So with the 15 wide and ultra wide camera, the 13 Pro wide ultra wide telephoto lens, 4K 60 on the back and front of both. With the 13 Pro, I feel like this camera is decent. No, I take that back. I feel like this camera is very good. I've had a very, very good time with the sensor. You're getting 0.5x zoom and you're getting 15x zoom on the inside. It's a pretty good sensor. Video mode, cinematic mode, slow mode, time-lapse, portrait mode, panorama mode. There's still a lot of capability behind this camera. I've had a tremendous time with this camera for so long, and I still feel like this is a very solid phone from that perspective. It's a very good phone, and I feel like it's going to, like I said before, stand the test of time for a long, long period of time from that camera. Now, on the iPhone 15's camera, I feel like it's maybe has like better image processing for the most part, but like I don't really notice big differences between these types of cameras. You're getting 0.5x zoom, but you're getting 10x zoom here. With the iPhone 15 Pro, or with the iPhone 13 Pro, you're probably getting overall the better sensor, I would say, just because you have the telephoto lens. You're still maintaining things like cinematic mode, video mode, photo mode, and all this other stuff. But like I said, I think you're definitely getting probably overall the better sensor on the iPhone 13 Pro. And that's kind of how it's summed up though. Like I feel like the iPhone 15 is a better phone in some ways. Like it's going to last longer. You have USB-C, you have the dynamic island, and you have a few things here and there. But I kind of still sense that the 13 Pro might actually end up being the better phone here. Like it's kind of up to you the way you describe it, but like I feel like the 13 Pro, with it being a little bit of a better, more premium phone, with it having kind of a better camera setup, with it having similar performance, things like that, I feel like the 13 Pro is still up there, but I feel like the 15 is still a very good phone. There's not too much to complain about there. Like this is probably a better phone overall, and you can buy this thing in the brand new market. But the 13 Pro is probably the phone I would, if you want to get a better deal, that one might be the better one I'd recommend more people to buy. So it kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.